That works for me. Why is every single shot of females some sort of sexualized footage? Because Vince McMahon. because Vince McMahon. That is my explanation for you. Oh fuck, sorry. Give me a second. Whoever edited this, I need to have a talk with you, please. That's like actually terrible, wow. Bass theme song though. Bass theme. Right, there you go. I hear he has free time. He's got a lot of it now.
I don't drink, and I don't smoke, I don't do drugs. My addiction is wrestling. With no toxins and no distractions, I've been able to make an impact in world wrestling entertainment. But I still
can't say that anymore, punk. It's WWE. Just WWE.
I welcome the bumps on my road to WrestleMania.
Why does Punk sound like he's half asleep? That's so weird. I hear he has free time. He does. But no, my video editors are the Yin Yang Gamer, Vinay Bunster, although he's sort of more kind of counseling me in terms of just like, you know, marketing and shit like that in the future. And Jadazo is my short editor. This is probably licensed, but whatever.
We've officially begun the road to WrestleMania.
Fuck yeah, EC Dub with CM Punk.
What a night we have planned, Joey. It's gonna be off the hook.
Oh wait, that's Joey.
Superstars
Okay.
Sports entertainment squaring off in what's sure to be a classic match.
This is bullshit. I'm going to the website. Has Punk never not had bags under his eyes? He looks constantly hungover. I like to imagine that, like, age just hasn't been kind to him. Like, did he have bags under his eyes in that footage? Alright, we gotta go to the medicine cabinet to save, guys. We gotta go to our dealer Kmart. This is where we will find the goods. That's where we'll find the goods, known as, Xanax. And, aspirin. Our dealer CVS. It's like when you're, like, prescribed, like, Adderall or something for the first time, and you're like, oh yeah, I got a dealer. And it's literally, like, it's literally just, like, a controlled substance. Alright, chat, here we go. Oh boy. Oh boy, it's Jeff Harvey. Let's go. Very, very, very curious that we start on ECW.
The following contest is scheduled for one fall.
Yeah, chat, like I said, things are going to divert a little bit as we go further throughout this. I hope that you stick with me for it. I remember nothing about these Road to WrestleManias, though, besides a little bit of, of Cena's storyline. And I remember Rey and Batista's being, a little boring, honestly, but I have a special idea for that. Jeff Hardy never once changed his look, did he? I mean, he was Willow for like, you know, 5 minutes there in TNA. Also, speaking of TNA, TNA's back tonight. That's really cool, chat. And I heard they had a really good pay-per-view.
From Chicago,
Illinois. Yeah! Yeah! Honestly, chat. Fun fact. Did you know that this was originally supposed to be a theme for Randy Orton? Yeah. They played that for Randy one week on Smackdown. Randy said he didn't like it. And WWE was about to scrap it. But then CM Punk heard it. And he's like, I like that. That's my theme. What a fucking find, though. I've only listened to 3 Killswitch Engage songs in my life. This is one of them. But, what a fucking track. Jeff Hardy never once changed his look, did he? Nah, he's always been just weird. Weird guy.
Whoa, Hardy and Punk. This one's gonna be ridiculous, Styles. You're right,
Styles!
these are 2 of WWE's
No doubt about it, Styles!
and you can be sure they're going to
Wait, that's actually JR. Oh, for sure. No doubt about it, Styles.
What a fierce kick. Both
Fun fact, I'd still use a tax machine.
very similar high-risk styles. That means it's going to be hard for one to
Alright,
get
so like...
over the other.
Wait, they actually recorded like special chants? See, let's go, Punk. That's actually kind of nuts. Wow.
Dive as he hits the center.
I was not expecting that level of effort. That's actually insane.
Talk about rubbing your opponent's
There you go.
What a kick that was.
Why the heck am I doing taunts? Don't quit your day job for voice impressions. Don't worry.
Fifth kick.
Don't worry, I won't. Wait, is that it? Is this it?
And there's the go to sleep. Knee to the temple. Here's
CM Punk. CM Punk.
just in the nick of time.
No. That's it. That Taz was rough. Well, listen. Listen.
Kick wearing down his opponent.
No doubt about it. Ashley.
The crossbody takes him down, baby. He's got him covered. If he hadn't cut his fingernails earlier, that would have been a 3 count. You're right.
Oh, hey, there you go.
He almost took
What
his
the fuck, Taz?
with that Larry.
Are you saying we get insipid Taz commentary here, here in the games as well? That's awesome.
There. Looks like he's going for it. Break the hold. There it is. The Anaconda Vice. He's choking the life out of his opponent.
That's actually insane. Wow.
Oh, did you see that?
I can't believe we also get insipid Taz commentary here.
The kick connects.
Okay, hold on. All right, no more kung fu kicks. Ow. No more kung fu kicks. Hey, Queen Haiku with the 4 long boys, girls, NBs, and AGs. Thank you very much for rating on in, my friend. For those of you who are unaware, my name's Giraffe Sev. I'm the president of the Long Boy Club, the very large enjoyer of all things gaming, wrestling, other hyperfixations, and my stinky cat. Tonight, we are playing the Road to WrestleMania modes in SmackDown vs. Raw 2009. Thank you very much for the resub, Queen Haiku. 2 months. That's real nice of you. Hi, Henry.
This is a painful submission hold, and he used to
It's time for a 90 seconds minute Cheetos break, my dudes.
90-second minute, yes. Raw rolls on after this. In picture-in-picture.
What a counter. Here we go.
In picture-in-picture, chat.
And there's the go to sleep. Knee to the temple. You have to think, whoever wins this match will get a huge boost in confidence. That's always the
Come on.
product of intense matches like this. You
All right, well, now we gotta let Hardy get his shit in. All right, Hardy, get your shit in. Let's do it.
Hello, Mario.
knocks his opponent down.
And the RE4 remake is something, I'll tell you what. It is, though. It's actually, like, really...
Oh my, what a flurry.
It's actually really great.
What a kick that was. And he drops the leg across his opponent. That kick rocked him.
It's a commercial break. He's letting Punk take a breather.
A swift arm drag.
Ashley is as annoying as in the first game, though. LOL. Well, that's not nice. Ashley's in the chat right now.
And he brings his leg crashing down.
Right, we're in commercial break.
Strikes the
Ow.
opponent with a quick kick. Oh, the elbow.
Not
pad.
that, Ashley. Listen.
And there's the drop kick.
Listen. Same people. All Ashleys are the same.
Om nom nom.
Whoa,
Oh,
hello.
excuse me, we're back, my dudes.
Hey, welcome back to ECW?
A sharp kick wearing down his opponent.
Oh my god, GTS! Holy crap, that busts him open, dude!
Both Hardy and Punk.
CM Punk. CM Punk. 2, 3. There you go.
Whether you like it or not, there's
Whether you like it or not, chat, there's the match, I guess. There it is, right there. Right there for all to see. But no. Thank you for the raid, Haiku. We shot you out. I just hopped in and that was a hell of a presentation. Oh, really? Would all Ashleys get in the line of fire and get killed? I don't know, Ashley, would you? While I think about that, I'm gonna shout you out. But yeah, the Resident Evil 4 remake is class. It's fantastic. It comes highly recommended. CM Punk's the greatest of all time, no doubt about it. Joey. Fucking leave me alone. I'm trying to write for the website. And that's what Ashley did to me. Got in my way and got herself killed. There was a point during the Resi 4 sorry, the Resi 4 remake playthrough that we did on this channel for Halloween, that for some reason a cow just got really pissed and tried to ram both Leon and Ashley. I thought we were talking about WWE Ashley Massaro. No, we're talking about you. You, Ashley. We're talking about you. But we can also talk about Ashley Massaro. Although, well, you know. It's probably best we talk about you. Because you're in the chat. And you're more relevant. Right now. What the heck is this, like... Okay, like, what fucking genre of butt rock is ECW's theme now? Ah, hey, it's former TNA digital media champion Tommy Dreamer. I don't know how the heck is Tommy Dreamer, like, not in a body cast just all the time now? Like, his body's gotta be made out of, like, twined bubble gum and, like, hopes and dreams.
Somebody once told me.
I kicked the shit out of you, bud.
I doubt you're good enough to beat me again.
I'm standing right in front of you. If you feel lucky.
This is ECW. We solve disputes the extreme way. If you two want to go at it again, what about an Extreme Rules match tonight?
Oh my god, we're actually making ECW something worth watching?
At the Royal Rumble.
Let's do it. I'm in, but just know this, Jeff Hardy. When I go extreme, I don't hold back.
Holy crap. They added in, like... They had, like, Foley audio, too. They're going all out for this. You see? This right here is the effort that I want in my season mode. What is this? If I really want to get extreme in this match, I should try to put Jeff Hardy through a table. Oh yeah, that's right. They have, like, little side goals that you can do, too. We should probably make a habit out of just saving after every week. Although I'm pretty sure that, like, the game just saves, like once you're done with every match anyways. So, yeah. Rope break rev. Well, listen. We'll be here at... Spoiler alert. We'll be here at Raw before too long, and then you'll get to hear my JR. I hope you all are ready. If you think my Taz is great, wait until you hear my JR. Oh, by God. Oh, by God. Oh, by God. Ashley. Wait, that was like Peter. That was Peter. CM Punk saves with the medicine cabinet. Again, he's going to CVS. He's going to Walgreens. He's going to Rite Aid, okay? You could say he has dealers all over the country. Rite Aid? I have a question about Dustin Rhodes. How come he only paints half his face in AEW compared to when he used to be in full face paint at previous promotions? I think it's to pay tribute to, like, you know, his entire past. Minus Black Rain. Because, well, let's just say we don't talk about Black Rain. That's, That'll get you blocked on Twitter. Rightfully so. But I think it's meant to be kind of like a tribute thing, right? Specifically to his time in WCW and his time as Goldust, right? Yeah. My favorite part about Jeff Hardy is that in Fight Forever, if you do his little Dougie taunt, they recorded like sound effects of him like making noise while he's like doing like the little I like his little motion where he's like can't access all the redeems. I can't access all of the redeems on PC. Pain. Wait, what are you talking about? We don't talk about Black Rain the same way we talk about 9. Yeah, exactly.
For the second week in a row.
In the same way that we don't talk about the night that wrestling changed forever. In 2003, when the Typhoon made his presence known. We don't talk about that.
He hooks the boot to his opponent.
Wait, can I? Yeah, baby, outside dive. Oh, well, that was a little botchy. I enjoy that they recorded like little sound bites for like these different matches here. I enjoy they have like the dueling "Let's go Hardy, let's go Punk" like that. That's a level of effort that I wouldn't expect, right? And like it isn't like hot shit or anything, but it's again, it's like more than you would expect. I feel like. Okay, so I can pick up weapons by pressing X, right? Is that what it said?
He's showing absolutely no respect for his opponent.
Can we talk about Bruno? I mean, listen, I don't know if Bruno's a wrestler, but if he is, I don't see why not. How the fuck do I... Hold on. What? Fuck you. Hold on. Oh. Ah! Now that was a spot. Oh yeah, no, that's going in my cringe compilation. That was perfect. Jeff finally has his revenge.
A swift kick to the opponent. After the outcome of last week's match, Jeff Hardy
Hold
must
on.
be feeling nervous.
Okay, you know what?
He's got the psychological advantage, but you and I know Hardy's never scared.
Come on. Yeah. Come on. We're gonna do some wrestling fundamentals here.
He pops the hips and
Jeffrey Nero Hardy. I think it's a glitch when my scroll bar on PC doesn't let me see all the redeems.
and that's a stiff kick.
Yeah, that sounds like a... Yeah, it definitely sounds like a glitch. Wait, can I? No! No, you're gonna take this fucking spot. You're gonna take this spot!
Hurricane Rana.
He says it after it happened.
Wow, great reversal.
Bruno Sammartino. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, that's right. You can just take things from the crowd now. That's actually kind of based. I didn't quite read the controls for like picking up weapons and stuff.
Uh-oh, he's looking for an object. Is this gonna be trouble?
Stop pandering to the crowd. I'm trying to pick up a fucking table here, and you people are getting in the way.
Absolutely no respect for his opponent.
So like chat, for some reason, whenever I try to run, it
I'll
like
never understand why there are so many dangerous objects under the ring. Doesn't anyone look under there before the match starts?
my dude, you are an ECW. Stop being the way you are. Why are you the way you are, Joey Styles? My action. You know what? Fuck that. There you go. Eat shit.
The drop kick.
Didn't quite read all the rules yet. I mean, we could talk about Bruno Sammartino. I mean, we know he's a wrestler, but Bruno, that's a little bit out the question now, isn't it?
From an incredible vertical leap.
That's a little bit more out the question, ain't it? This match is going on Botchamania. This whole stream is going on Botchamania. Holy shit.
Punk hits the go to sleep. Don't you think it's a bit strange that Tommy Dreamer would offer to defend his title against the winner of this match?
Not at all, Joey. Tommy's a proud competitor, and he knows these two.
Okay, I just disappeared. Got it. Okay. You dodged an outside dive like Samoa Joe. Senior Joe would have been proud, yeah. Oh. Oh. Oh, I see. I gotta stand perfectly still. What the fuck? Holy shit. Thank you very much for following, Zachary Bonneville. You are now a member of the Longboy Club for life. Or Zachary Builder, I should say.
ECW title shot at the Royal Rumble.
Going for the leg drop.
Okay. I am not trying to taunt. I'm trying to run. I am trying to run. There you go. CM Punk. CM Punk. CM Punk.
He's just brutalizing his opponent with that table.
Okay. So, like, if I do this... if I do this, will it result in him, like, going on the table?
His opponent down with a drop kick.
Come on. Come on, Jeffrey Nero.
Under that ring earlier.
Yeah, this whole stream's going on Botchamania. I don't know what you're talking about. Inside the ring. Get in the ring. Come on! Are you kidding me?
This kind of match is perfectly made for
Okay,
Hardy
fine.
and Punk. Anything goes.
Ow!
Way to settle your differences.
I'm trying my best to get him through a table when I don't really care.
Oh my God!
I really do just need to, like, put him away here.
Looks like someone's making it pretty clear that he's not feeling too threatened right about now.
There you go. Kicks, kicks.
And his opponent should
Ah, yeah, the S kicks.
He's climbing the turnbuckles. Will this pay off?
So what are Punk's signatures? Like, what do you do?
He's going in for the kill.
Oh, hey, hold on. Oh, there you go. There you go. Meanwhile, the Typhoon is in a secret lair hiding from the FBI, surrounded by 30 TV screens, all showcasing CM Punk footage. Hopefully not from this match, because that would be a little that'd be a little iffy.
That was definitely extreme, Joey. I just hope they're both okay.
I'm sure
Why are-
winning a shot at the ECW championship will help CM Punk's healing process.
My dude, you can tell that this is like WWE CW because, like, you got like Taz and Joey Styles on commentary being like, "Oh, well, geez." Oh, well, geez, Rick. I sure hope they're okay. No, dude. Dude, you don't give a fuck here in ECW. And I realize, you know, that's failed. Put Jeff Hardy through a table to win a bonus. No. Listen, it's fine. We gave him 2 GTSs, I think. We gave him, we gave him a Vice. And, yeah, I think that shows what we're about. I think that that's pretty good for what we're trying to achieve, you know? In before we just spit all over the... Are we doing this every week? Oh, yeah, ECW! Let the bodies hit the floor!
ECW is live. Along with Taz, I'm Joey Styles calling the action.
Yes.
CM Punk and Jeff Hardy have tangled the last 2 weeks, but tonight they're teaming up.
Oh, no. Tag team matches.
Competition.
Because CM Punk gets to ride on a private plane. My ass. Premium economy. Maybe this is WWE. What the? Yes. Who's calling me on my WWE licensed BlackBerry in 2008?
I hear we're pairing up tonight against Burke and Morrison. Listen, I got a little banged up after our extreme.
I'm driving this in my 2008 Camry.
These guys. We should
I'm
probably
recording this in my 2008 Camry.
I'll do my best.
Now this is how you know it's WWE. You got two rivals, put them in a team. How will they coexist, chat? How will they ever coexist? Not after a real dangerous match like what we saw last week. I don't know how they're gonna do it. Also, the fact that there was no blood in that match and there was blood in the first match, it means that the first match was more violent than the second one. ECW. Here we go. Oh my goodness. This is, Oh, hey, it's the Pope. The dangerous match where he used a barbed wire baseball bat, which didn't draw blood. Exactly.
On the way to the ring.
Exactly. It didn't draw blood. So wait, are we like entering separately?
And the opponent.
Oh, what? Oh, what the heck? Huh? Wait, they still have this? they still have the first person view. Ah, yes, I can see them. They're right there, chat. Right there in the front row. CM Punk and Jeff Hardy in the front row. Can you believe it, chat? Okay, that's enough. That's enough of that. That's like actually nauseating. That's the 6-axis technology in action, chat, I guess. First person entrance? Nah, this game is peak. 2008 VR. Smackdown vs. Raw. It's now available on the HTC Vive. And the Oculus Quest 3. A match between two teams of superstars. Only one is considered legal. Teammates tag in and out. Yeah. Listen, I will do my absolute best to make it so that I don't need to tag in Jeffrey Nero Hardy.
They'll need to put their past behind them and work together as a cohesive unit.
You can tell Hardy's feeling the effects of the Extreme Rules match last week. He appears to be favoring his leg.
Oh yeah, no doubt about it, Joey. Especially after that blood that he took. Wow. As that was last week. No doubt about it, Styles. No doubt about it. Every single sentence he has just starts with no doubt about it. Drag your opponent towards your partner that is standing. Yeah, okay.
Outcome of the match.
Wait, can I? Yeah, baby, there you go.
Please, this one's over.
One. You know what? You know what? I changed my mind. I'm gonna let Jeff take care of this one. Oh yeah, that's right. They have like this camera view when you go to the outside. I'm trying to help my partner. Hold on. Ugh. Okay, cool. Let's go. Headlock takedown. All right, Jeff. What the? No. You need to get out. You and I aren't done yet. You and I are not done yet. Elijah Burke, I wonder if he still exists somewhere. I actually saw him like at a small like a small show here like a couple years ago.
He's making a cover. That's the kind of hold that keeps you up all night. 3.
Like it wasn't like with anyone big. It was like with a really really small fed, right? And it's probably like only local to like my neck of the woods. So, and he was in the main. Like he was in the main event too.
Those two weren't at full strength, but they still did it. My hat's off to them.
Dude.
Usually, when John Morrison and Elijah Burke smell blood, they're nearly unstoppable. That was not the case tonight.
My dude, they couldn't have smelled blood. Jeffrey Nero Hardy already healed from 2 weeks ago. They all think they're just stuck in the same week. I mean, you can't really tell time because, like, listen. At this point, this show was very much not on the priorities. This is very much not on the priorities. This was on tour with Smackdown. And that's how you, and that's how you got your fix of ECW. Hey, it's Lil Rock. I wonder how this will begin. Fuck yeah, ECW, EC-Dub in PG. Not as small as, oh god, who even was that guy? The Mexican $1 Million Man. That's how much I've forgotten him. I don't know. I don't know who you're talking about. I have no clue who you're talking about.
Elijah Burke is no joke.
These are some graphics.
The Royal Rumble marks a pretty busy week for Tommy Dreamer.
These are some graphics. That's some, stank face Elijah Burke. Been granted my release? Oh. Ugh. After the Royal Rumble? Ugh.
Listen, I'm worried about getting jacked by the same guys you faced last week.
Getting jacked?
What do you need to do about it?
I want you
No issue, Jack.
to watch my back.
You know you and I have a championship match in a few days, right? All right, okay. You're lucky you're an ECW legend.
Del Rio. Oh! Well, listen, I'm going to forget the name here in like a few seconds because I want to. But, yes. You're on the money.
I don't care if you beat us last week. You aren't deserving of a shot at the ECW Championship. Tommy Dreamer had no authority to make the match for Royal Rumble. He did it because he knows he couldn't handle the Tuesday Night Delight.
What?
This injustice will soon be remedied.
Put that on a t-shirt.
My destiny, punk. You can only hope to delay it.
He's like Thanos, chat. He is inevitable. What's this? I can help both Tommy and shut these guys... Sorry, I can both help Tommy and shut these guys up at the same time if I make sure Tommy beats Elijah Burke tonight. You know what? Sure. I'm down for helping Tommy beat Elijah. John Morrison 2024 is still in incredible shape. He is, though. He's like actually a hunk of a man. Absolutely shredded. I do find it funny that, like, anywhere he shows up, he has a different last name. I enjoy his commitment to the bit. His commitment to the bit is to be admired. John Morrison is forever in great shape. What are they feeding this man?
The following contest is scheduled for one fall.
Joe, here we go.
Accompanied by John.
4 up.
On the way to the ring.
John Morrison be looking like a twink here, though. That most of the people here on ECW do.
It's time for a 90 seconds minute Cheetos break, my dudes.
Hey, Raw rolls on after this.
Punk, the ECW World Champion, Tommy Dreamer.
Not Tommy Dreamer, 100%, man. Yeah, exactly. He's 100% schlub. My dude's gonna be going in there. Like, he isn't at the point yet, like, in where if you breathe on him, then he'll probably crumble. But he is at the point in where he will wrestle with an ECW shirt on and be a billboard poster. Hey, Haiku Ray. Well, thank you for coming on over from the raid. Why does the announcer sound like he's about to fall asleep? Because Tony Chimmel always sounds like he's gonna fall asleep, honestly.
Relationship we have brewing between Tommy Dreamer and CM Punk.
So as a manager, what can I do?
Challenger to watch his back tonight. One thing I like
As a manager, what can I do besides just doing this?
he wants Dreamer at his best.
All right, Joe, you and me are going for a ride. There you go. I love that Tommy Dreamer never really learned how to wrestle like the Sandman. And yeah, he was still like really loved for
Nom nom.
years.
Oh, excuse me, we're back, my dudes.
Like he was like winning championships up until tonight. Like he was like the TNA digital media champion. You can manage. Listen, what the?
Morrison enters the ring and strikes Dreamer. He just got Burke disqualified.
He did not do that. He in fact did not do such a thing. What the fuck is going on? What? What? What is happening here? Oh my god, he just came in and he struck Dreamer. No, he didn't. He just entered the ring. Yeah, it's ECW and there are DQs. Yeah, exactly. And that right there is how you know that this is not ECW anymore. This is WWECW. ECW. Where we have completely normal wrestling. All the time. Why is the ref why is the ref catching strays? I don't know. Also, when is this going to end? Like, what are we doing here? Hey! What exactly are we doing here? Like, what is the objective? Are we just beating dudes up? I think we're just beating dudes up now, chat. MMA knees. There you go. Alright, the roller punkster, let's go. Why the heck's the ref catching strays? I don't know why he is. I think you can target him in this game. Can you? The ref is transfixed on a banner. Is transfixed by a banner. There you go. Listen. If they say that what's happening here? What is happening? We're taking turns beating up the referee. Wait, chat. I think I know what happened. The game was waiting for like either Morrison or Burke to strike the referee. And like until that happened, we would have kept going with this. Sometimes the ref is looking at a nickel on the floor. Yeah, and he gets his head caved in, and he also takes a swinging neck breaker.
Then why didn't he? If the champ gives you an advantage, you got to take it.
No doubt about it, Joey. Sometimes the ref is looking for a nickel. He's reading the big pizza billboard with no other words on it. He's looking at the fun signs that fans brought. Like, TNA. Or Vince fears ratings or something like that. You know, the usual suspects. It's time for the Royal Rumble! Woo! And we're actually making pretty good time. I don't think we're going to be able to get to Cena, but I think we can get through Punk. Or the ever popular, the guy behind me can't see. I saw someone bring that exact sign to a show at some point in time. I literally saw them bring it. They were wrestling video game maxing when they brought the guy behind me can't see sign.
I hear it's going to be an Extreme Rules match. You know, not for nothing. I'm not really down with that.
Styles and Taz looking like sock puppets here.
Why?
They're looking like Muppets.
Talented superstars maiming each other?
It should be a violent confrontation.
championship is on the line. We'll see that match and many others tonight.
Meanwhile, Dreamer's here looking like, I can't wait for this shit to get canceled. We get DQs. We got Taz on commentary being like, oh my god. Like, oh no, they're gonna get hurt. Fuck that, dude. It's ECW. Why is the entire row behind Styles and Taz all girls in tight t-shirts? Because I guess that's the ECW audience, brother. Actually, no, it was probably a bunch of basement dwellers. No disrespect.
This is the big time, Punk. Give it everything you got. You're good. But we're about to find out if you can go extreme with me, the innovator of violence.
My dude, I'm gonna break out 2 friggin' GTSs on you. I think maybe it was more hired talent. We need to attract that female demographic. We gotta attract that female demographic. Okay, Vince, how do we do that? Tight t-shirts! Hell yeah! Oh, hell yeah, the tight t-shirts in the front row. Such good shit, pal. He says while he's thinking about the big sweaty men in the locker room. I think maybe... Fun fact, WCW did not go fully defunct until 2017, when what remains of WCW under Warner Bros. Was merged into Turner, and WCW was sold to WWE. Time Warner retained all the liability and insurance payouts, along with a couple other legal documents. So what? So what, is that stuff just burned now? It's no longer on this planet. Was CM Punk always in the black and white tights throughout this? Throughout this story mode? Or have I not been paying attention? Oh, wait. Wait, he has. He has. I've just not been paying attention because he had a t-shirt on. Gotta say, I'm not a fan of soccer mom cut Punk. I don't want him driving his sons to football practice, you know? I want him getting up onto a microphone and eating blueberry muffins. Talk about how he works with children. He's tired, he's old, even though at this point he's like, what? 31, I think? 30, I think, actually. I think it's 30. The documents that remain were made a part of the Turner Division legal paperwork. I could see this theme song be for like early Randy Orton. I mean, it was gonna be Randy Orton's at one point. Dreamer Pog. The documents that remain were made a part of the Turner Division legal paperwork. Alright, chat. Here it is. This loads a lot quicker than, like, 2008, too. Like, this just feels a lot better to play. I mean, really, if you're a major company, you kind of need to hold on to paperwork for legal reasons for decades to come. Well, that's, like, a whole lot of, like, legal stuff that isn't really all too interesting, honestly. This is a no DQ match. Pins and submissions count anywhere. Okay, well, then we...
This is it, Taz.
Immediately...
versus Tommy Dreamer for the ECW title.
What the fuck is that? The ref is fighting him. What? Holy shit. What is happening here, chat? Chat. You got missing flying clotheslines. You got the referee fighting bees. You got Tommy Dreamer swatting Punk out the air. Maybe this is why WWE ECW stopped. CM Punk kills it with one match. He fucking goes in there like Shawn Michaels and Hulk Hogan at like SummerSlam 06, or rather SummerSlam 05, and just like oversells for fucking Dreamer. Let Let me get my shit in, Dreamer. Let me get my shit in.
A DDT driving his opponent's skull into the ground.
I can't do it. I can't do it, chat. I can't do it. I'm trying to do a springboard. I'm trying to do a springboard off the top, but I can't do it. Okay, listen.
A vicious DDT, sending a shock.
This right here is gonna be the one. Can you lean on the ropes, please? No! Fucking Tommy Dreamer's going to business for himself, chat. What a dickhead.
What a display of power.
Come on. Yeah, chat, we finally hit it! We finally hit the thing! Beep, 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 pew. Yes, finally. I finally did it. Okay. Okay, now. Okay. Alright, now we're gonna put this away. We're here for the paycheck. Tommy Dreamer seems like the last person to buy into his own gimmick, honestly. He seems very humble. I'll never ever forget like when Creepshow was like telling me about the wrestlers that she's met. Apparently Tommy Dreamer was a total dickhead. Although my favorite story from her is when she tried to get like, you know, a cig from Teddy Long. Like they were standing in line, right? And she was like talking about how, oh my god, like Theodore Long's cig is like $30. And then when she got up there, and when she got the signature, apparently Theodore Long got like up in her face and was like, all right, there's your signature. Do you like it? Is that worth $30 to you? And like he was like just really bitter about it. Like he was just like oddly bitter about it, and he took it like oddly personal.
Right now, everyone's focus is on the ECW title, and the sacrifice
is it?
CM Punk has had to make to get this far.
Listen, Dreamer, I'm giving you one chance. Do your finisher. I'm giving you one chance. We are in the pay-per-view mandated ad break.
Hanging off of the apron with your opponent in total control.
Why did he get mad about that? That makes no sense. I don't know. What did she do other than like ask for a signature in the line meant to do that? I mean, like I don't know. Like he just got kind of whoa! Holy shit!
This is Punk's.
No wonder people like CM Punk. He can break the laws of physics.
The ECW title is within his grasp.
Listen.
If he can just get through Tommy Dreamer.
Come on. Come on. Come on. Get over here and give it to me. Ow.
He drops the elbow.
But no, like he just like took it like really personally and he got like really butthurt over it. For like no good reason. Like the thing is, like, you know, usually like when wrestler signatures cost so much. Listen, Dreamer, we gotta do the spot. We gotta go up here to the entrance ramp.
He's showing absolutely no respect.
To the entrance ramp. Okay, fine. You know what? I know how you operate. CM Punk footstep ASMR.
Is this gonna be trouble?
Come on. Sledgehammer Wars, let's go. Let's go, Dreamer. Get to... No, over here. I need you to come over here so we can, you know, just like do this crowd justice. Get over here. Dreamer, this right here is your element, dude. Teddy Long probably only made 3 of the $30. Yeah, exactly. Like you have to imagine that like the wrestlers like barely make any money off of that. There you go. Woo! Tommy Dreamer forgetting he doesn't need to break the count. No, exactly. I just love how like the commentary was like just completely just mute for for that whole length of time that like Tommy forgot his spot. It's fine, you're old. It's okay.
Wait a second. What's
Punk. I'll finish you here on the entrance ramp.
He's choking the life out of his opponent.
There you go.
That's all she wrote.
And there we go. We finished on the entrance ramp. And honestly, not a great showcase. Who's the friendliest wrestler that you met IRL who's been in the big time at some point?
Captured the ECW championship.
JTG, actually. He was like incredibly cool when I met him at like a house show, or like a indie show actually. He was like incredibly cool.
Personnel out, tending to Tommy Dreamer.
Now this, listen. Now this is how you know it's not like ECW. Like they would just keep going. Not to say that's a good thing, but that's what they would do. Who's the friendliest wrestler that you've met like IRL? It's either JTG or Scotty Too Hottie. Scotty was really cool. Leave his body in the ring while while fucking other people wrestle over him. Yeah, exactly. In like a situation like this, like you would have New Jack and like Sabu and Rob Van Dam like doing something, right? Or probably just like New Jack and Sabu because they're fucking psychopaths. But that is what would happen, though. That is just what would happen. And I won't be tonight. That's coming later on, show. That's fucking coming later on, guys. But for now, we gotta get through ECW. What? Wait, a punctured lung? He was bleeding out the face.
But it was a great contest. Say whatever you want, Joey. I got something I need to do. What? Where are you going?
Why is Taz being such a bitch? Why is he being like? Why is he doing this? Taz is going to take a dump. Yeah. The entirety of ECW is a piss break.
A superstar got hurt. My good friend and ECW original, Tommy Dreamer. And I am sick and tired of this happening time after time.
Dude, it's ECW!
People love Extreme Rules matches. Well, I'll tell you what, it takes a huge toll on us.
Okay, go sit down, boomer.
When a superstar is injured, it's
go sit down, Taz.
Doesn't like that. Thanks to Taz's concerns, I'm hereby abolishing extreme matches. Effective last week.
So wait, effective last week.
Royal Rumble is negated.
Oh.
And I need him to come out right now to relinquish the ECW championship.
This right here is how you... What?
That's it? Sorry, CM, no more title? You're too extreme for ECW?
Unfortunately, yes, but...
Talk about hitting a guy when he's down.
Oh. LOL, he's taking on the safe McFoley role. He is! Like, this right here's the heel stuff, you know? This is like heel Taz. Wait, is this like, you know, like an actual match? Oh wait, no, he did have the Chicago colors. In like a non-pay-per-view capacity. No! Dang it! Jesus, Stephanie looks like a doll with huge face implants. No, I know. It looks so weird. What the heck is going on? What is going on, chat? I fucking hate... Can I get out, please? There you go. Jeez. Okay. I almost forgot the fight music. Do. Holy crap! I'm getting the. Getting the shit kicked out of me by Elijah Burke. Shot battle. Elijah's cooking. Longest Boston Crab in history. Ah, the longest Boston Crab in history. Why am I being told how to run when I'm given a guide like like corner post chops? Oh yeah, no doubt about it, CM Punk. You gotta remember how to run. I'm too tired to do more chops. Okay. Oh my god, you gotta know how to run. What the heck is happening? Okay, there you go. What the? Okay. Elijah's the chef of the year. I mean, listen. He's fucking cooking, but I don't want what he's cook. What? Okay.
Attacked a dejected CM Punk.
What?
Punk brought it on himself.
What was that, chat?
When did you turn state's evidence anyway, partner?
What the heck? You know what? Fuck you, ECW. I'm gonna go to Raw. I'm pretty sure that we're Raw bound anyways. Well, okay, well that was a weird non sequitur. I gotta say so myself. That was a really, really odd sequitur there. Alright, New Orleans, Louisiana. You know what, Taz? If you're so fucking smart, how about you get into the ring and you take on Punk? Let's do it. Let's do it. I just love how like CM Punk tossed the belt like it's a sack of trash.
Tournament to decide the next ECW champion.
Hopefully it'll go to someone more deserving of the championship.
I don't believe there's anyone on the ECW roster who isn't deserving, Taz.
Oh, well, golly gee willikers, Taz. Everyone on this roster is just so good. Who cares, Styles? Who cares, Styles? Taz suddenly just becomes like a real weird guy all of a sudden. Paul London? Now that's a name I haven't heard in... Now that's a name I haven't heard in a long time. Well, listen. You're gonna hear it tonight. Maybe. I don't know who I'm facing, actually. Thank you. You got where I was going. Good. Good. I'm sick of facing John Morrison, dude. I'm sick of these guys. Now listen, chat. This ain't no make believe. I love Wish.com, Jimi Hendrix. Or wait, would the modern reference be Temu .com, Jimi Hendrix? Because it feels like Wish is taking a back seat on the hierarchy of websites so you get like crappy bootleg stuff. Have you seen the stuff they put on Temu, chat? It's like actually slightly embarrassing. Morrison has the purple haze up in his brain, chat. Listen. I don't know much about Morrison. Or I guess, Johnny Nitro, or Johnny Impact, or Johnny Game Changer, or Johnny TV. I don't know much about him. He's a man of many hats, but I don't know if one of those hats is Stoner. He just kind of seems like he is. He seems like if you gave him a blunt, he'd smoke it with you. He would partake. I never even heard of the website you said, Temu. Yeah, Temu. It's like this, it's a relatively new website, right? And it's kind of like Wish.com. In that you go on there and you buy extremely cheap goods.
This is a man with pure wrestling know-how. Hulk now, that's a different story. His viciousness has no place on TV.
What the fuck is wrong with you, Taz? You know what? This whole
It's
story
time
is
for a
about
90
finally...
seconds minute Cheetos break, my dudes.
Alright, Raw was on after this. In picture, don't go anywhere. Ryan Morrison, you gotta... It's time to work over Punk.
But that sets up bigger things. And there's the elbow.
Bigger things, such as a standing elbow.
A swift kick to the opponent.
What the heck? Okay, well, never mind. You know what? I guess...
And there are those educated feet.
Ah, yes, educated feet, chat.
To his opponent.
You think that Jerry Lawler's commentating this match.
This is just the first round of a tournament to crown a new ECW champion after Punk was cruelly stripped of the title earlier tonight.
Hey, look, you can't go crippling your...
Wait. That was earlier tonight?
Punk's gotta learn when enough is enough.
Oh, God, enough is enough.
And that's a stiff kick.
Wait, that was last week, Joey. That just further adds to my, like... That just further adds to, like, my theory that, like, the commentators are stuck in, like, a Groundhog Day type situation.
Right about now.
The tide could turn in the blink of an eye, and his opponent shouldn't be taken lightly.
Om nom nom. Oh, excuse me, we're back, my dudes.
Alright, welcome back to, ECW, I suppose, and where Punk has remained in control. And where Punk has remained firmly in control of this matchup. But yeah, Temu. Temu is essentially kind of like Wish.com, and where, like, you go on there and you buy, like, a bunch of, like, bootleg stuff. Usually bootleg stuff, or just kind of stuff that's on the cheap. It's essentially a cheaper Amazon, and like an even cheaper Wish.com, which is already cheap. Like, I remember seeing like a YouTuber that I follow have them like as a sponsor, and they were saying, oh well, you can get like $200 on a Nintendo Switch even though it's like $300 at, like, you know, base price, even though that, you know, you're probably going to be spending at least at like extra 100 on shipping and processing, you know. According to the US government, it's extremely high chance that they are using forced labor. Oh my god. Why did they have to add, like, peck jiggle physics in this game, chat? Why they have to go and do that? That was weird. It does not surprise me that they are using, slave labor. An extremely high chance. It's probably the same, like, with Wish. Because, like, how do you produce that much, you know? Bring back peck jiggle physics. Let's get that shit trending. Yeah, you know what, Taz? I don't appreciate your I don't appreciate your lack of consistency. Uyghurs are a Muslim minority in China. They are putting in sterilization camps and forcing them to work for nothing in China. That's horrible. That's obviously horrible. But, you know. You know, I don't really want to talk about, like, that side of it. I recognize that, like, that's bad, but I don't really want to talk about that side of it, if that's okay. What the fuck? Okay. Now you're getting your stuff in, Morrison. Took you long enough. You had, like, all commercial break to do it.
Sharp kick wearing down his opponent. What fantastic extension on that leg drop.
You know what? I don't like your tone. I'm gonna place you right here.
He's got his opponent trapped in a turnbuckle, and
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There you go.
Oh man, look out!
Just 1 week ago, CM Punk. There it is. The
What? Okay.
He's choking the life out of his opponent.
Okay, why not? Morrison wanted to give Punk a little more. He wanted to give Punk the shine because he considers himself a face. Just like a complete egotist.
Check, please. This one's over.
Hell yeah, dude. Headlock takedown. Yeah! MJF style, baby. Headlock takeover. Pinned you. Right afterwards. Former AEW World Champ would be proud.
Crown champion has moved on to the next round.
At least he's earning it the right way.
That's what the 4 remaining superstars are trying to do to get to the ECW championship.
So wait, was this like the main event or something? Flare flop from Morrison. My favorite taunt is literally just the flare flop. It's literally just doing the flare flop. It is in the top 1 of best wrestling taunts of all time in wrestling games. It's a top 1er if I do say so myself, chat. Punk's trying to up his game because he's heard of this new wrestler from Kenya who's making waves on the indies. His time will come. Maybe he'll be able to face him, while he's still in the company. Who knows, really? Who knows, chat? Boy, I sure hope that he comes to Raw, SmackDown, or WWE CW before I retire. Wouldn't that be something? Wouldn't it be something I go into comic books and MMA? That'd be so funny. That'd be so hilarious of me.
Hey now, I know the score. Injuries.
You're an all-star.
Don't worry about me.
There should be Gira comics. Don't tempt me.
Yeah, round 2 of a tournament for a championship I never lost.
You're rightfully ECW champion. No matter what Stephanie or anyone else says, go out there and be extreme by any means necessary.
Why does it sound like his voice is doubled over?
Use a weapon. Get disqualified. Don't worry about this stupid tournament. We both know it's bogus. Just do your job as an ECW superstar.
Yeah, exactly. Bleed out and we won't come out to help you. You're very lucky that we don't have New Jack here, otherwise you'd be fucked. Tommy wants me to get extreme. Sounds like a plan to me. And I don't care who has a problem with it. Oh, it's a mandatory goal. Okay. Teaching you to lose. Yeah, exactly. Because, like... Wait a minute. Isn't Tommy Dreamer, like in this tournament? This feels like a bad move. I mean, like, he may have been eliminated. I did skip the cutscene. So, New Jack would give you the prison spoon knife. The prison spork. You apply it to the head like such. Spork. Applied directly to the forehead.
from Jacksonville, Florida, weighing in at 230 pounds.
Prison spork. Applied directly to the forehead. Real weapons. Cry me a river. That's what CM Punk's gonna say. Once he gets his hands on, who was it? Elijah Burke. I'm sick of this guy, dude. Fuck this.
Just over 2 Punk won the ECW title following a stunning victory over Tommy Dreamer. But thanks to the actions of my broadcast colleague and Stephanie McMahon, Extreme Rules matches had and Punk was stripped of the title, which
There you go. Wait, is that it? Is that it? Wait, is that it? Okay, cool. That's it.
Just like that, CM Punk is out of the tournament.
CM Punk needs to learn to play ball here, Styles.
Now, we will definitely have a new ECW champion in the tournament final next week. What a misstep by Punk.
Match speedrun, LOL. You know, Punk isn't getting paid by the hour. He's on fucking ECW. You think that they get paid a whole bunch here? They probably get paid less than what they did like when fucking Paul Heyman was running. I respect the tenacity. Get in there, do your time, and then it's on to the next town. Punk doesn't work by the hour. Exactly. Again, they're probably getting paid less here than what they did in the original ECW. Just like go in there, get your shit in, and then get out, you know? I mean, you're going to be on Raw next month anyways. So, really, who's keeping track? Bro's a salary worker. He really is. I think that we can do Cena's after this, chat. I think we can do John Cena. Question mark, question. And I won't be tonight.
ECW champion. It'd be nice to have some fresh blood wearing the gold, Joey. I know where my money's on.
Yes, your opinions haven't been very well guarded these days, partner.
My joints are... Oh, no doubt about it, Styles. My joints are made out of paper mache and scotch tape.
You really shook things up last week. Nice going. Elijah Burke thinks he's a lock to win the championship. Maybe you should show
He's not a lock, that's Henry. That's Henry, chat. We're gonna go out there and we're gonna show Mr. Burke where his place is at. He could never be him. He can never be the one and the one and only Henry the Cat. All right, here we go. Going out. Going out tonight. Here we go. Oh, hey. Why do the butts also have jiggle physics, chat? America.
You get the honor of seeing me before I coast in there and beat Jeff Hardy without even...
Henry the Cat was a kid at home watching this on his CRT TV. Well, listen, even then, Elijah Burke could never be him. He doesn't have the beans chop like Henry's got. Bring back booty jiggle physics.
Like Tommy Dreamer, or a greasy wannabe rebel like CM Punk. I'm a true paragon of virtue.
What? Holy shit! Ah! Oh my god, the tables! Watching it on your grandma's weird aspect ratio TV. I've embraced the lawlessness of this match and I'm starting it now. Alright. We're gonna kick the shit. Bro ran into this fade. Bro ran his fade with the quickness. Again, he doesn't get paid by the hour. He's showing up to get his shit in. And then it's on to the next town, you know? I mean, look at this. This isn't even like an ECW locker room. This is Raw and Smackdown. Foreshadowing of where CM Punk will be going here. Why are the trash cans so shiny? Well, listen. It's always extra with Vince, you know? It's always extra with Vince McMahon. Oh! Wait. Hold on. Can I break through? Can I break through? Okay, it doesn't seem like I can. I didn't want to taunt. Hell yeah, I'm pretty cool. A real door, cry me a river. Here we go. It's like Skyrim when he goes into the other room and just vanishes. No, no doubt about it, yeah. Wait, get up. I want to see if we can do it. Yeah, baby! No sound. Great. MMA knees. MMA knees. MMA knees. And then you had a count of ice. Woo! Tap out. Tap out Elijah. Tap out Elijah. Even the trash cans are sweaty and oiled up. No doubt about it. Hold on. Right, can I get him over to the pizza? What happens when I, like, Irish whip him into this? I want to see. Come on. Come on, Elijah. Get over here with your concussion. We're not... No. We're not done yet. We're not done until we have the catering table spot that has, like, 10 pizzas on it. It's got 10 pizzas. Whoa, holy shit. I gotta get it in, brother. Oh, okay. Well, I guess we won't know. Pizzas on a WWE catering table? Where are the steak wraps? Ah, steak with ketchup.
That's why it's called ECW, fans. And Taz, don't forget it.
CM Punk just ruined the tournament finals.
CM Punk looks like his eyes are like gonna bulge out of his head, chat. He looks like that one guy from Digital Circus. Like the top hat wearing motherfucker that's like all teeth and like big ol' googly eyes. The steak wraps come with Heinz ketchup packages. It's such good shit, pal. No way out. Wait. Are pay-per-views not segmented by brands anymore? Alright. Alright, No Way Out shares a theme song with ECW, okay. Holy shit, it's loud. It's loud, what? I did not do the first person stuff.
The finals of the ECW Championship Tournament tonight with no interruptions this time.
Yes, I think CM Punk might be a little busy with his opponent to worry about the result of that match.
So who's my opponent?
Stephanie wants to keep you busy tonight so you don't get involved in the ECW Championship match. So, I got you a match against none other than Big Daddy V. Oh, and keep in mind that if you do interfere with the finals, you will be suspended indefinitely. Not that you have the strength after you're crushed by the most dominant force in the WWE.
Kevin Nash takes offense to that. Kevin Nash's lower back says hi. Getting flattened by Big Daddy V isn't in my best interest. I should beat him as quickly as possible. Let's say, in less than 2.5 minutes. I can do that. This is actually very, very, very devious of you, Taz. Not only are you gonna make sure I can't interfere in the finals, you're gonna make sure that I can't walk out of No Way Out. Well, listen, I got WrestleMania to be at. I got WrestleMania to be at and Raw to be transferred to. You will not stand in the way of that. You won't stand in the way of that, my friend. Condition. Big Daddy V must be defeated in less than 2.5 minutes. Oh my god, what the fuck is with the epilepsy in this game? Holy holy shit. This getup feels like a rib. The problem with getting flattened by Big Daddy V is he won't be done with you when you're flattened. No, he won't. Holy... Listen, everyone wants, like, Titantrons back, right? But you know what? I'm a little happy that they're not back because we don't have stuff like this anymore. My goodness gracious. That's a lot of man. That is a lot of man, chat. Okay. Okay, we can take solace. It's CM Punk again. Sorry about that, chat. Yeah! Yeah! Yeah!
Hello, Mario.
Hey, oh, I saw Big Bubba on your screen, LMAO. That is the late, great King Mabel to you. Breaker of backs and breaker of women in 2006, I guess. I don't know. Breaker of spirit, exactly. Breaker of spirits. Breaker of our spirits for wrestling. Yeah. A breaker of backs. So the guy I'm facing here, Big Daddy V. I think you can tell which one is which. T-Brain. At one point, he was known as King Mabel, and he was in a match against another wrestler named Kevin Nash. And holy fuck! Whoa! CM Punk! Now this is why people like CM Punk, chat. Known for humping his opponents on the map. That is also true. Big Daddy V is a sexual creature, but that is not what I'm primarily speaking on. I'm speaking on the time that he broke Kevin Nash's back at like SummerSlam. I think it was 95, I think. What the? No! That's wild as hell, LMAO. I mean, at the very least, Nash's quads, they weren't the only, they weren't, the only part of his body getting love from the fucking, hurdy bug. He didn't just have hurdy legs, chat. Okay, I'm running out of time. Ooh!
Later on tonight, Elijah Burke will take on Jeff Hardy for the vacated ECW.
There you go. If we don't get this, chat, I want to like reset and actually try to like finish him off. What the? Ah, yes, the insipid Taz. You know what? This whole playthrough has been insipid Taz commentary. Ow! Hey, you!
And he strikes the opponent with a quick kick.
There you go.
I love it. Talk about rubbing your opponent's face in it. A swift
There's absolutely no reason for me to like be like obsessed with like doing this on the first try, but I am obsessed with it, chat. I am actually obsessed with it. I want this. I feel like Big Vis was a relatively safe worker. I heard he was like notoriously unsafe though. And like obviously that isn't like I want to hear the crowd chant. I want to hear them chant Big Daddy V. I want I want like a chant that's like, let's go, Daddy.
It's time for a 90
CM
seconds
Punk.
minute Cheetos break, my dudes.
Oh, come on. Raw rolls on after this.
And he strikes the opponent with a quick kick.
That's at least what I heard. Although, like, the only known like moment of that, I know is, you know, the thing with Kevin Nash. Other than that, I am not too familiar, like, with, you know, his other histories.
And knocks his opponent down with a drop kick.
Ooh!
Just a fantastic suplex.
Looks like he's going for it.
There you go. There you go. There you go. Jesus, Punk is strong. How many times has he lifted Big Daddy V?
Later on tonight, Elijah Burke will take on two. If he hadn't cut his fingernails earlier, that would have been
He like knew that. Holy crap! that was some heavy rain animations at 500% type face there. That was crazy.
that kick rocked him.
Again. There you go.
Punk hits the go to sleep. Big
Come on.
TV is one of the most vicious competitors in EC.
Come on. That had to be three. They kicked out.
No, they didn't.
Shot with the elbow.
Holy crap, chat. Okay, you know what?
Nom nom.
We're doing
Oh,
this.
excuse me, we're back, my dudes.
When you get that kind of pressure applied in your body,
Oh, chat. I know what we can do. I know exactly what we can do.
CM Punk must be questioning his decisions. He could have been wrestling for the ECW title had he not been disqualified. But instead, thanks in no small part to Taz, he's up against the 500-pound mastodon, Big Daddy V.
He's not the Mastodon. That is...
This is a painful submission hold and used to great effect here.
2, 3,
I've got till 5.
4.
I've got till 5.
He's showing absolutely no respect for his opponent. What a fierce kick.
Chat, I want this. Listen, you don't understand. I want this so bad. You don't get it. I want it so fucking bad right now. In fact, we need the music. We need the music, chat. I want to see Punk argue, I've got till 5 like Jericho. Isn't that like a Bryan Danielson thing, though? I'm pretty sure it is. No, DDT. You basically need to, like, not get hit by him at all. Like a what? Like a dirty little ragdoll. Taz, this is a PG program, okay? You gotta keep it good. You gotta keep it good and clean. No. Jericho's thing is saying, I'm from Winnipeg, you idiot. Really, Jericho has, like, many things, doesn't he? Tap out, daddy. Tap out, daddy. No. Okay. I think we're good. I think we're fine. I'm tap out, daddy. Quote of the year. No, I'm trying to. I love how during even serious feuds, his opponents would sell it when he was threatening to put them on the list. They sell it like it's being shot. Listen, chat. I want this. Just like bear with me. Tap out, daddy. Quote of the year, and it's only 14 days in. Tap out, daddy. Tap out, daddy. No doubt about it, daddy. Billy, Billy, Billy. Oh, neck breakers. We love them, chat. No! Don't use lighting on Big Daddy V when he's in his shell. Like when he's growing in a tube. Again. More MMA knees. What the?
What a fierce kick.
One more neck breaker for the fans at home. There you go, chat. Fucking did it. Just like I said we would. Woo! Don't use lightning on Big Daddy V when he's in his shell. T-Brain versus Big Daddy V. Who wins? Not my bag, I can tell you that. Incredible. What's with like the biting, chat? 1 minute and 15 seconds. Rather, a minute 30 probably, actually. Listen, you'll never be gold dust, alright? You won't be gold dust. It's fine. Don't worry about it. Oh. Oh. What? Okay. I guess I unlocked a playable character. Cool. That was a statement victory from CM Punk, chat. When am I going to Raw? I want to leave like this backwater ECW here. This non-extreme ECW. I mean, at this point, Punk knows what's up. At this point, his like job security is on the line.
I'm Joey Styles, and we thank you for joining us. We got a new champion, baby, and I'm proud to say it's Elijah Burke. It was an intense matchup at No Way Out, but you're right. Elijah Burke came out with the goals.
All right. Well, is that what we're doing? Or are we like abandoning this for something else?
Allow me to introduce you to the new ECW champion.
The new ECW champion.
Elijah Burke.
Hello, I'm Taz, creator of the room, and let me introduce you to the new ECW champion.
Don't you have it?
What?
Send it to me.
What the fuck?
Calm down.
Oh, hey, okay.
What the hell are you doing with my
What the hell are you doing? What the hell are you doing?
I don't remember anyone beating me for it.
I earned that, punk. It's mine.
I enjoy how like it has like little jingling key sound effects.
How about we find out who the real ECW champion is? Right now, in a last man standing match. No DQs, no countouts, and may the most extreme man win.
I love how it has like weight to it. That's fun. CM Punk. Why doesn't it have Taz wheezing sound effects? Well, listen, we're not at that stage of insipid Taz commentary. Maybe we'll get there later on. But right now, it's like incremental, you know? We'll get there eventually, but not right now.
And we've got an impromptu last man standing underway as CM
fuck?
Punk challenges the new ECW champion.
Oh, nice.
Hey, Punk's got some nerve. I'm telling you that right now. I hope Burt knocks him right out.
All right, last man standing for the title. Let's do it.
He's putting a good use here.
No doubt.
Come on.
Because he's got that thing, he's in the driver's seat.
I just love how like Taz's commentary is like, oh fuck yeah, I love weapons, and yet the story is all like, oh CM Punk, oh CM Punk gave Tommy Dreamer a boo boo. Let's go. I can't believe I'm having this much fun watching SmackDown vs. Raw 2009. Well, you know what? I'm glad you are. I'm genuinely glad you are. Aish. You know, chat, the further that we get into this, the more I'm starting to wonder, are we gonna get to Raw? Or is this just like an all ECW joint?
Time to see what kind of toys we got under the ring.
Maybe it is an all ECW joint. Ooh!
Burt just had the match of his life 2 days ago, and now he's got to fight in a last man.
Let's go. Oh, we're gonna Pillmanize the leg! We're gonna Pillmanize the leg, chat! Ooh!
Wait a second. What's he doing?
Count it, ref.
I love it. Talk about rubbing your opponent's face in it.
Just gonna sit here. Gonna not take my mask off, but I'm gonna get a water. What? Huh? Eh? No. No. No, 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 no! He has color! No! He's got the color, dude! By the way, is this Road to WrestleMania mode? It is, yes. It is, in fact, Road to WrestleMania mode. Oh my god, he's choking out CM Punk! My god, he's choking the life out of him like a government mule. Wait, no, 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 no! You can't... You can't Pillmanize my leg! 3, 4, 5. Boo. Wow. You know what? That's really impressive of Elijah. He like wiped off all the blood on his face in the time in the time it took between that spot and the victory. It's very impressive cleanup of him. A real-time stitch job in ECW. Now he's hardcore, chat. Now he's hard. Now he's hardcore. Real-time stitches. Crimea River. He used super glue like Mac Torson on his eye. Oh my god. Ugh. You super glue the wound shut, Excalibur. Right next to your fax machine.
Shadow, it's me, the devil. I'm here to convince you to commit sin.
Hey, Lumi, how you doing? It's me, the devil. I'm here to convince you to commit sin. Oh, well, listen, I'm CM Punk. I can't do that. And not until I go to my medicine cabinet and go to my dealer, Rite Aid. Here. Right next to Big Lots. And Five Below. Listen, we're in fucking Indianapolis, Indiana. I can make those jokes.
Hello, Mario.
I'm okay. I've been experimenting with tits. Oh, have you now? What have you been doing with tits?
No, that was a lie. I'm just a harmless homunculus. Trust me.
Okay. I figured out how to make assets. Oh, really? In terms of, like, just new things to throw? I still have a bone or two to pick with John Morrison. I should aim to beat him in tonight's triple threat. Oh. Oh, I should pin him? Or rather, how to import assets. Oh, yeah. Like, I've done that as well. As you can see from the big ring. Condition. Defeat John Morrison for a bonus. Yes. Yes. Stars can now be thrown at my head. Are they 3D stars? Boo! No. Purple haze all in my brain. I believe. I would say that... No, that is beyond my capability. Ow. Figuring out how to import assets into tits is an insane statement. Truly. I got some assets here on my tits, chat.
Step on up and
you want to see them? Well, here comes one of them.
Around a long boy's neck, ladies and gentlemen.
Quick, put the kids to bed.
Come on, let's go. Hurry.
Ah, okay. Wake them up. It's fine. It's fine.
You didn't. You owe me $10 either way.
I'm waiting for the $10, chat. This game is very loud for me, chat. Ow! Hi, Kite. How you doing? Long time no see in the chat, actually. It's been a little bit, hasn't it? Ow!
Oh my God!
I would like some JR right now. I'm a little tired of hearing Taz's whining and, and Joey's, oh, well, golly gee willikers, everyone in this tournament is great. Aren't they, Taz? Shut up, Styles.
And here's the main event
Damn.
of the evening. A triple threat match as CM Punk takes
Ah!
Big Daddy V and
Alright, well, there goes the back.
with the winner becoming the
You had a little halo there for a while.
for the ECW title. And
Well, aren't I just heavenly?
no interference.
You know what, yeah. You go ahead and focus on Morrison. Oh. Can I make Morrison tap out? Or is it like a thing where I need him to like beep end?
And there's the submission hold.
What are you gonna do? Disqualify me?
Oh man, this is just about
No!
Just look at the pressure being applied here.
Arrgh.
Punk came so close to regaining the ECW title. Elijah Burke was down for the count until someone decided to interfere.
Hey, get off my
Aye.
back. What I did was good for ECW. Plain and simple.
Come on, there you go. Wait, hold on a second. I want to make sure that, like, the thing works. Give me a second. Oh, hey, it does. Uh-oh. Well, chat, what do we do with this newfound information? Now you see the truth of the long boy. I'm sorry, chat. I'm sorry I let you down after all this time.
Going into this match, you've got to think that Punk will be the favorite.
I never anticipated to let you down in such a way.
Morrison in recent weeks.
What did I ever do in this world to fucking deserve an empty-headed fucking dumb fuck like friggin' Ashley at the Galaxy to use her channel points to go into business for herself? What did I do? Nothing. I didn't do nothing. Chat. Ooh.
Knee to the temple.
What?
Punk is nothing but a vicious dog. I don't think he fights to win. He fights to deliberately inflict as much damage as possible.
Okay.
That's a lie. And Punk loves competition. And that's
There you go.
the reason he's here.
Holy crap! CM Punk is on fire, chat. CM Punk's on fire.
Do you think he may be jealous? Good night. Punk hits the go to sleep. That's the way you do it.
What?
Nothing like the
Okay.
your own blood to take the fight right out of you. Oh, that kick rocked him.
Boo me, boo yourself. You put the redeem there.
Oh, brother. What a
Well, listen, that may be true, but counterpoint. Shut up.
good night. Punk hits the go to sleep. And he strikes.
Everyone loves CM Punk until he actually starts doing something.
Devastating. Just a devastating neck break.
That's real blood. Cry me a river. How many fucking times I made that joke? Actually about to start up her friggin' heel arc again, and I'm here for it, lol.
They could be out.
Alright, that's it.
Can he do it?
That was all CM Punk. There you go. Whether you like it or not, as Joey Styles would say, there's the match right there. Whether you like it or not, chat. There it is, right there.
Hello, Mario.
Okay, Sev, I've been in the background listening as I've been figuring out stuff. Oh, really? What have you been doing?
ECW Championship. Let's hope that match has no interference. I don't expect you to understand.
Put us in a steel cage.
But Elijah Burke does not.
I was just a tweeter. I've never been face.
Remains to be seen, partner.
Trying to think of things like River City Girls. Stev, are you a robot? I'm only a robot because Ashley pulled the mask off. Blame her. Blame her. I'm still the nice, sweet long boy that you've always known. I'm still the nice, sweet long boy that you've always known. Okay? Just, maybe a little, maybe a little not what you would think I am, but I'm still nice and I'm a sweet long boy. Pay no attention to the man behind the curtain, chat. It's fine. Oh god, it sounds even more crazy with the glasses on. with like the sick mad scientist glasses, yeah. Alright, never mind. I'm pretty sure that we are not gonna go to Raw, actually. This is all an ECW gig. No! No, Lumi. I don't make sounds like that. Rather, I do make sounds like that. I blame Ashley. Also, I gotta say, chat. And this is I, as in me, the real Giraffe Stev. That we have been consistently, like, in the double digits for the whole stream. It seems like. You know what? I say thank you to Taz. I say thank you to everyone who has stuck around for this whole thing.
Father, you disgust me. How could you?
You're literally like a friggin' a demonic abomination. You're like Lovecraftian. Don't you give me that, how could you? You're literally like an abomination of nature. You're lucky that I still buy you the Cheetos every week.
Giving you a title shot is like giving a can opener to a baby. You're not gonna do anything with it. This is a wrestling match, and there's no way you can beat me without resorting to your old barbaric tactics. Meanwhile, I'm the paragon of virtue. You might as well not even show up.
Well, clearly they've not watched Ring of Honor. They clearly not watched Ring of Honor, CM Punk, chat. We about to go in there and we're gonna run circles around this guy. Check it out. But first, we gotta go to Walgreens because we're no longer in the Midwest. We gotta go to Walgreens real quick and get our totally legal substances. because we're CM Punk. Chad, I gotta play an ad. I'm sorry.
It's time for a 90 seconds minute Cheetos break, my dudes.
I'm gonna hide while this redeem cools off. Raw rolls on after this. Oh no. Am I gonna tell my mom? Am I gonna tell my father? Am I gonna tell my funny cousin that plays Crusader Kings 3 with me? That plays Crusader Kings 3 with me? How will they take the news, chat? How will they take it? How can they take it? It's such a frightening revelation, you know? I don't know how you can do such a thing. No, wait. I gotta think of something. I gotta think of an excuse. Got it. I'll say that I have blue waffle in my throat. That's a good excuse, right? I gotta get it checked out. When they learn you were manufactured instead of born. No, listen. Listen, it's the blue waffle. That's the explanation. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it, okay? I'm sticking to it. When I head on over for Thanksgiving.
Nom nom. Oh, excuse me, we're back, my dudes.
Welcome back to Raw. Oh. Guess we gotta continue on, chat. We gotta continue on. Singles match ECW Championship. Just in case it was unclear, this is for the ECW Championship. I'm so sorry that everyone had to find out about my true nature this way. Although, to be fair, if you watched the lore stream, you may already know. You may already be privy to the truth. And I'm sorry. It was foolish of me to put my heart out on a sleeve like that. And bear you all witness to my sins. I promise going forward that will never happen again. That'll never happen again, chat. I will never sin on God ever again. Now then, let's beat the shit out of Elijah Burke. Let's beat the shit out of Elijah Burke, chat. I think that's a pretty good idea. But no. Joe, what were you working on? What were you working on? You disgust me, homunculus.
Ladies and gentlemen, it doesn't get bigger than this.
Are you experienced?
For the ECW title. This is the match Punk has fought so hard for, defeating Big Daddy V and John Morrison in the
Nice.
threat last week.
And also getting the belt relinquished. And also getting the belt relinquished from me. Crucially. Because secretly Vince doesn't want this brand anymore. Well, you know what? Too bad for him. I'm not gonna let it just be a tax write-off. I'm gonna let it be something else. I feel like only 4 wrestlers exist in WWE CW. It definitely feels that way, doesn't it? Because, like, at this point, secretly, openly, oh yeah, openly, absolutely. Oh, okay, cool.
A swift kick to the opponent.
There you go. There we go, chat. Nice.
Driving his opponent's skull into the ground.
Ooh, nice.
won the ECW title just 3 weeks ago. But can he...
Right, we're gonna win it in record time. I'm gonna job this guy out.
He's choking the life out of his opponent.
There you go. Record time.
Match to end, but that was it.
All right, whether you like it or not, chat, there's the match right there. Whether you like it or not. And now it's time for Smackdown.
CM Punk has regained the ECW championship. And there goes my partner again.
There you go.
I imagine Elijah Burke didn't expect this.
It's just like normal ECW. It's Joey Styles calling everything. CM Punk. CM Punk. CM Punk. There you go. Cool. We just won the ECW title again. Forget how long I had this redeem up for. Okay, there you go. I don't know how long I haven't been a robot, but listen, chat, there's nothing wrong, okay? There's nothing wrong anymore. You can breathe a sigh of relief. You can take a sip of your juice. You can stretch. You can do whatever you need to do. Because the robot mode won't hurt you anymore. It's fine. I'm sick of seeing this show fireworks in open, like, dot mov here, chat.
Another edition of ECW, the most extreme show on television. WrestleMania is right around the corner, Styles. I love this time of year.
Oh yeah, that's right, WrestleMania is on Sunday, eh?
New champion at the big event. I have a few ideas, Styles, but you don't really need to know that because basically you're a tool.
Cool. Well, you know what? It doesn't matter what Taz throws at us because we gotta go to CVS real quick. Ah, there you go. We got we got the Adderall. We got the muscle relaxants. We got everything a wrestler needs, okay? In order to perform at their best. And what's this?
You got me to agree to accompany you to the ring tonight, but you better not need backup. I'm nowhere near 100%, but you can handle yourself.
Tommy Dreamer hasn't been anywhere near 100% since at least 2002. All right? It's no big deal. You're fine. God, you know what? You're right, Ashley. There are like five wrestlers on WWE CW. I'm begging for something different, dude. I'm begging for fresh blood. I'm begging for some fresh blood here. Although I have a feeling that something's gonna happen. Hell yeah, dude. Hell yeah, brother. Tommy Dreamer. What the hell, Tony? You gotta put some gusto into it. I'm the champion of this brand. No wonder it went down the tubes. With calls like that, I'm not surprised. Why doesn't Tony like ECW, chat?
Here we go with this non-title matchup as the champion CM Punk takes on...
So, like, I'm very glad that we don't know our match heading into WrestleMania.
We still don't know who the champion might
This is Cool Beans here.
But you have to think a win here tonight would put Morris...
This is some pretty cool beans here. Jimmel doesn't give a shit anymore. I mean, like, listen, when you have to announce the same five or six dudes every night, I would stop caring too, probably. But maybe you could pretend to care. I'm the champion of this brand. Maybe you could put a little more gusto into at least my bit, you know? Swinging neck breaker.
Devastating neck breaker.
Exactly. There you go.
Here we go.
All right, Anaconda Vice. Record time, record time, record time. Record time. Record time. What? I am above this brand. I am above this brand, Chat. CM Punk can run circles around everyone on this show. Ew! Ew!
Like an ECW championship reunion. So I thought I'd join you two. Why don't we invite another former champ?
You're getting back in the ring, Taz.
WrestleMania, and get this, in a tag team match.
And get this.
That I really teach you what the word extreme means. And Dreamer, you're not looking too good these days. You need retirement a little bit more than I do. You know what? Maybe a few suplexes on that injured.
Oh boy.
No, that would do the trick.
That sounds like a great match for WrestleMania.
That sounds shit.
Your team made the challenge. I'll let Punk's team pick the stipulation. Any stipulation.
Okay, so suddenly now they're on my side? I'm surprised that Stephanie isn't like, ah, well, it's a pure rules match. It's just like suddenly she's like really into Ring of Honor. I want steel cage match, chat. So this is Punk's road to WrestleMania, eh? I wonder why he left the company. Why did he leave the company when he was in the road to WrestleMania mode of SmackDown vs. Raw 2009 featuring ECW? Featuring ECW Invasion. Crucially. Also, I love WrestleMania has the same theme song as ECW. Pew 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 pew. EC-dub, EC-dub, EC-dub. I'm standing here. He couldn't even get into the main event in a video game. No, he couldn't.
I'm Joey Styles, honored to be at WWE's flagship event. Conspicuously absent, of course.
Zoom out.
ECW Tag Team Bout. Let's look at how all of this came about. CM Punk captured the
Listen, we know. We've been here. We've been here, chat. We know what's up. God, no wonder CM Punk left. The best he could get at Mania is a tag team match with like washed up Tommy Dreamer, washed up Taz, and kind of mediocre Elijah Burke.
So you chose a steel cage match for us tonight, huh? You realize that leaves you nowhere to run, right? I'm gonna throw you and Dreamer from one side of the cage to the other.
Alright, well, you're at WrestleMania. WrestleMania. Alright. Here we go, chat. Probably just thrown somewhere in the mid-card. It's time. It's time. It's Taz time.
On the way to the ring, and Elijah Burke.
Yeah, you know what? That's I just love they're strutting down to the ring, Chad. That's good. That's good. That's some good content right there.
The ECW World Champion.
Yeah? Yeah. The way that was spaced out, it made it sound like it was a 3-on-2 thing. I'm not used to seeing Taz with his eyes, chat. That's weird. That's actually, it's a little terrifying, actually. I don't like that. I don't like that at all. Do not like that at all, chat. I wonder who will take over commentary duties here in Taz's absence. If the pin and give up option is turned on, victory can come by pinfall, submission, or escape from the cage. Wait, hold on. I want to see the match rules. Can we win by pinfall or submission? Escape from cage door. Pin off. Okay. Sure, why not? We'll do that. But first we need music, chat. We gotta get the music going.
Well, things haven't turned out quite like we expected. We're underway calling this Steel Cage match. You're right, JR. This is the hook. Taz is out of retirement.
What? Are you kidding me? No fucking shot, dude. Joey Styles couldn't even commentate his own match. Oh my god, I don't know what's going on in this match, but I'm a big fan of CM Punk. It's a real steel cage, cry me a river. I'll be honest, King, I would probably care about this match a little bit more if it was in the main event. I don't know about you. There you go. So wait. Can we tap people out here or no? What? Betrayal. The mid-match betrayal. There you go. Dreamer, can you please? Can you please, like, do something? Ow! What? Okay. Cool. Alright, Burke, you get one too. Why not? There you go. Oh man. Oh man, his anatomy. Wait, can I still do springboards? Yes, I can. As these two collide, by God. Please. Ooh! Nice. There you go. GTS! Oh no! Damn it. Vince's weights. I was about to say, can you please help me out a little bit, Dreamer? I'd appreciate that. Vince is way too cheap to even give poor Styles a WrestleMania paycheck. No, I know. Website writer. Fuck this, I quit. Styles. He could not get WrestleMania paycheck even if he tried. Come on, Dreamer, get out. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Wait, hold on. Okay. Okay, well, I also need to get out myself, it looks like. Come on. Come on. Yeah, Vince is way too cheap to fucking give like Solo Styles a WrestleMania paycheck. That's actually kind of insane. I was wondering why they let him out so friggin' easy. What the fuck? Okay, you know what? I'm gonna let you go, Elijah. I'm gonna let you go, Elijah. Because this will actually work to my benefit. Alright. There you go. Cool. Alright, Taz, you're in the cage by yourself. Get fucked. Cool. So I guess that's the run done and over with? Right?
What a win for CM Punk and Tommy Dreamer. Maybe Taz should have stayed retired after all.
Tonight, Tommy, you and I brought back Extreme. I think everyone wants to see us do it one better. You and me in the same match for my ECW championship.
Punk couldn't get the main event. So now he's like just going overtime. He's he's fucking cutting into their other matches.
Fresh off a huge win against Taz and Elijah Burke, these two are going at it.
Punk is playing 4D chess while they're playing checkers. No doubt about it, Cole.
One last time. Tommy Dreamer is synonymous with the word extreme. And
CM Punk is cutting into other people's time, chat. He's thinking, welp, if I'm not in the main event, then the main event's just gonna have to go short. Wait. Unless I can leave. Oh, wait. CM Punk is eating into the fucking Divas Championship match. I mean, at this rate, it might have to get dropped. You know?
And he strikes the opponent with a quick kick.
At this rate, it might have to get dropped, chat. Nice. What? No. Ow. Headlock Jones, let's go. Whoa, oh man, okay. There you go. Wait, heal? Wait, I can mend? Huh. I just love how they just, like, become, like, a projectile when they, like, just leave the cage. That's crazy. There you go. Alright, and with that, the Divas title match is canceled. Thank you for coming, ladies. Really appreciate your work ethic. Says Vincent 2008. That's almost the same as a main event.
Hello, Mario.
Hey, Fizzy Amp, how you doing? What? Cool. All right. Well, this looks like a main event celebration to me. I don't know what CM Punk's so mad about. He got the title. He got confetti. He's looking pretty good. CM Punk. CM Punk. Oh, no doubt about it. CM Punk's scenario is completed. Condition fulfilled. I completed the condition. Melina's backstage throwing a fit. Well, listen, you can't argue with the buy rate. CM Punk equals green. Nope, 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 no, 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 no. That will get me claimed. No, not POD. Yeah. That was it.
You think you know me?
Okay, thank you. I'm doing good. I just finished an easy work shift and now I get to chill for 4 days. Nice. Well, I hope that you enjoy your day off, my friend. Wait, continue? Oh, I just load the scenario again. Yeah, that was a little limp, wasn't it? Well, I don't feel like we can end on that, chat. I feel like we need to... I feel like we gotta do one more, right? Fuck it. I'm fine with going a little long. I wonder if it's fake Cena. Well, dude, that's gonna get me claimed. Enjoy my Blue Sky feed, chat. By the way, I have Blue Sky and I have a lot of things. Go to my card and find my shit. I also have a Discord server. We're gonna be watching My Little Pony Rainbow Rocks tomorrow. It's gonna be fun. Maybe you should join us. I feel like you should. Alright, are we good? Nope, we're not good. Nope. Okay, Cena, we get it. You're good. How long does this go? Okay, good. We're good.
These are not just catchy slogans. I never give up, and I never surrender. Hustle, loyalty, respect.
Whoosh, whoosh.
Someone bigger or faster or meaner, but I make sure there's no one more determined than I am. There are times when I'm down, but I'm never out. I'm John Cena, and this is my road to WrestleMania.
Yep, that's me, John Cena. You're probably wondering how I ended up in this situation. Holy crap, you're giving Cena a lot of air, eh? Shit, man, you want to talk about eating into time? The majority of that was a load of nothing. That was just footage that would get me claimed. And Cena being like, oh yeah, I'm great. Go, take the best. Whoa, I'll never give in. Bass theme song. Never think twice. Whoa, never give in. Whoa, never give in.
You're officially on the road to WrestleMania, JR. This is my favorite time of the year. A lot can happen between now and then, Keith. The face of Raw could change in a single night.
Oh my god, that was a great CM Punk storyline, wasn't it, King? By the way, where's the nearest Rite Aid? Where exactly is Rite Aid around here?
I want you all to know that I'm very happy to be in New York City. And I'm sure to give Mr. Kennedy a fight he'll never forget.
Okay, well, chat. This right here is where the split universe begins, right?
For a minute and talk about next week.
Especially like with titles and stuff like that. We gotta think about we gotta think about where things land, right?
And of course, we usually get many of those smiles ourselves.
And thinking about like
I met some good friends out there.
You know, the roles that the superstars have in like every storyline and stuff. We gotta think about that.
So until I see them personally, I'm dedicating tonight's match
Gonna get some sleep. Getting pretty late. I hope you have a good remainder of the stream. Night, y'all.
to Tony and the other men and women protecting the USA.
Rah, rah, rah. I'm feeling pretty patriotic, chat.
USA.
What the fuck? Cool. Oh boy, we're having one of these, eh? Just one of these, huh? Well, chat. We got the trainers and stuff. I enjoy how we have a different locker room for like every one of these, though. This is kind of neat. I like that. We'll have this safe here for all time, chat. You got CM Punk, WrestleMania 24. Cool. Chat. I'm actually a little unsure. Do we want to keep going? I'm gonna go and take a break, actually. And see if I want to keep going after that, okay? For now, though, I appreciate everyone for sticking around. If you haven't done so already, consider following the channel and join the Discord. We're watching, once again, My Little Pony Friendship is Magic tomorrow. We're going to be watching Rainbow Rocks. It's going to be fun. It's going to be great. And yeah, I'll be back in a few minutes. See you all in a few. Let's go here. Hey, welcome back, guys. So, you know what? The more I think about it, the more I think that this is actually a pretty good place to end. We're almost 3.5 hours deep, and you know, I don't want to burn the candle again. One of my goals for this year is, again, to practice healthier habits and to, you know when to finish out streams and not sort of, burn myself out a little bit, you know? Finish out on a high, so to say. So I'm actually going to rate us out to someone here, and I know who we're going to rate out to. We're going to rate out to my good friend Tina, who is doing a 12-hour stream right now. It looks like she's playing like a baseball game right now. I want you to go over there and send her a bit of love, you know? Long boy, club, love, you know how it is. You know exactly how it is, chat. So, with that in mind, thank you all for watching tonight. I really, really appreciate it. If you haven't done so already, again, I would really appreciate it if you joined the Longboy Clubhouse Discord server. Tomorrow we will watch My Little Pony Friendship's Magic Rainbow Rocks. That's gonna be fun. Check out my new YouTube video as well. It is on wrestling Christmas matches. Most of them are pretty weird and pretty strange. Check that out. Maybe leave a like as well. I would appreciate that. And follow the YouTube channel as well. I'm going to try to be putting out a few more videos on there this year than I did last year. So yeah, thank you all once again. Really appreciate it. Send some love to my friend Tina, and I will see you next Friday. Bye.